Okay, in this next questions, do take note, this type of questions are commonly tested. So you can see these tiny dust-like particles, right, on the body of the insect. So you must know that these are actually the pollens. So if the question says, Amy saw an insect feeding on a brightly colored flower or plant X as shown below. Amy observed the insect as it moved among the flowers. Okay, you got to explain, underline this word. How having the tiny dust-like particle on the body of the insects help the flowers in terms of reproduction. Okay, firstly, you must identify that these yellow dust-like particles are the pollens from the anthers of the flower. Okay. Secondly, you need to say that when the insect visit another flower, right, the pollens may drop onto the stigma. So this word stigma must be present. Okay, then it causes the flower to be fertilized. Okay, so let me put the answer here. Okay, let me try something. If I erase off this line here, if I put the answer over the text and see whether it's better. Okay, the lines here were drawn actually to help you to print out the paper and to write your answer. Okay, I clean out the line. I try to put the text here, see whether it can fit. Yeah, I can show. Good. Okay, nicer this way. Okay, so the answer says here. Okay, the yellow dust-like particles are pollens from the flower's anther. When the insect moves to another plant, its body will brush against the other flower stigma, and the pollens from its body will land on the stigma, pollinating it. Yeah, pollinating and fertilizing it. Okay, and fertilizing it. Fertilizing. Okay, so this part. So you identify this part. Okay, next, explain how animal B helps plant X reduce the chance of overcrowding. Okay, so you need to identify this bird, right, actually feeds on the fruit. Okay, but the seeds are inside the fruit. Okay, so when you swallow the fruit, right, the seeds are not digested. So it will be passed out as a waste somewhere. Okay, so let me do the same thing. Let me clean out this line for you to see the answer being pasted here clearly. Okay, let me put this answer here. Okay, you must mention how it prevents overcrowding. Okay, so after eating the fruit with the seed, B or animal B will fly away and pass it out as waste somewhere. Thus, the fruit and seeds will be passed out at a further distance from the parent or sibling plants. Sibling plants means a young plant, which will reduce the chances of overcrowding. Okay, this is quite a lengthy answer because the reason is quite a long answer. You need to explain. So you underline this word explain. Explain means you must give reason. Here also explain. So usually explanation questions, your answer is quite long, like 4 sentences. You need 4 lines. Okay, so this part I will screenshot and send it to you shortly for your reference. So those students who are in the lesson for the first time, you need not worry. You will get the answer to the screenshot and you can download to the computer or devices, or you can visit the YouTube channel, which I will upload by Monday. So take note of this and this. Okay. Ken, Gino, you got a question? Jing Yue. Yeah, I remember. Chinese name, easier to remember. Okay, Ken. Next question. Okay, this one is a very good question. Can you put an asterisk here? Because you need to understand the function of stomata. Okay, so in this question, you know that look at here, right? They say John observed the cells of a lamb plant during the day and at night. Okay, state one characteristic of living things that is demonstrated by the change in the size of this opening. So in primary 3, you learn, right? Characteristics of living thing. Living thing can grow, can respond to changes in the surrounding. So what is one of these characteristics? So this characteristic is living thing respond to changes around them. Because day and night is a cycle, it changes the light intensity. So this one is living things respond to changes around them. Okay, next question. Okay, explain how closing the tiny openings at night helps plant P in the photosynthesis process in the following morning. So can you underline this part? Okay, you need to explain right? This part. How the closing of the tiny opening. Okay, this tiny openings is actually the stomata, or so-called the gut cell, helps the plant in the photosynthesis the following morning. Okay, in order to answer this question, right, you need to understand that during photosynthesis, water is needed. So as I come back to you, as I revise this topic, the stomata actually has a few functions. Number one is gaseous exchange, which means it can allow the oxygen to enter for respiration and also allow the carbon dioxide to enter for photosynthesis. So during photosynthesis, oxygen is given out. During respiration, carbon dioxide is given out. So it is one function for gaseous exchange. Secondly, the tiny openings, which are the stomata, also controls the amount of water vapor leaving the plant. Okay, leaving the plant. That means the plant loses water in the form of water vapor. So I already given you the hint, because some students, they can't answer these questions. So if you know this understanding, right? So by closing the stomata, right, at night, right, that means less water will be lost. So less water being lost, that means the following morning, more water will be available for photosynthesis. Okay, so you need to explain how. This is also 1 mark. So you must mention that the tiny openings, right, prevents water vapor from being lost. Okay, I would show it to you here. Okay, the tiny openings, the tiny opening. Okay, the tiny openings. Maybe I change the word, instead of prevent, it reduce. Reduce water vapor being lost from the tiny opening. From the tiny openings. At night, when they're not in use. So the leaf will not dry out and able to to use the water to photosynthesize the following morning. Okay? The tiny openings reduce water vapor from being lost at night. At night, when they are not used, comma. So the leaf will not dry out and able to use the water to photosynthesize the following morning. So take note of this, this part. Photosynthesis. Let's give it a green color. Okay, this part. Okay, next experiment. Okay, John conducted an experiment as shown below. Okay, underline the purpose. So when you do questions, right, it's good that you underline what's the purpose to find out if plants need light to photosynthesize. Definitely, we know that they need light, right? So besides heat knowledge, you do experiment. So in this setup, there's oxygen sensor. So this one cannot prove, right? So you must mention that there are a few ways to phrase this answer. You can say that put one of them in the dark room and one under sunlight. Okay, you need to specify. Don't say one, which one? Maybe you say setup A, so you name setup A, or you say setup B. Okay, so this one, I will share the answer to you shortly after erasing this line here. Okay, so for this one, you should say place setup B in a dark room without light and place setup A under sun where you can get light. Okay, either one. So as long as you mention this part. Okay. Place setup B in a dark room without light and place setup A under the sun where you can get light. So these three parts, I will screenshot and send the answer to you shortly. Okay.